this is the first mission that's crewed. So there will be a team of 4 who will be leaving Earth on Artemis 2, traveling around the planet and then going to the moon, traveling around the moon and returning to Earth. There's a number of experiments going on about the astronauts themselves and how they react to the space environment. And then also a lunar set of experiments, which involve direct observations with cameras and their eyeballs, effectively, on parts of the moon that we've yet to ever visit, like the far side of the moon. They'll spend 36 hours traveling around the far side of the moon, observing things that human eyes have never seen, which is really cool. These are part of a larger vision that's known as the Moon to Mars architecture, which is to explore the moon, to learn about the moon, to build on the moon in terms of having a base, having an operation, having the ability to use its own resources that can then set us up for future missions to Mars. In Artemis, the idea is that we will actually go back and we will have continual missions that will be industry partners as part of what's going to occur in this next phase of lunar exploration, and that it will become sustained in the sense that we will actually build things on the moon, we'll have sustained human presence on the moon in the long run, and we'll use the moon as a self-sustaining location where it uses its own resources and allows us to also use it as a launching pad for further exploration in the solar system, Mars, and beyond. So to actually do anything in space is hard, right? To get even just a lander to Mars is very difficult. To get rovers on the moon is very difficult. And to get people anywhere off Earth in a safe and sustained way is extremely difficult. So what we've learned is that it's smart to have baby steps along the way. For instance, you don't fly the rocket with a human on it before you fly the rocket without a human on it to make sure it's safe, right? So the same idea applies to if we want to send humans to Mars, we probably should make sure we're capable of sending humans to Earth first. If we want to actually have a sustained presence eventually on Mars. So Mars is an interesting target simply because it's our nearest neighbor that might have been habitable, right? And so it drives the excitement of the potential that life could have existed on Mars or is somewhere deep in the crust still eking out survival on Mars. And it even has the potential that we could find a potentially a slightly easier way to live there than, say, on something like the moon. It's not necessarily the highest chance of life in our solar system, but is the most terrestrial of the planets that could have life, and therefore, or could have had life, and therefore it's the closest for us to think about where else in our solar system could we potentially live. We're very much in a space race again, which is very interesting. We're trying it differently with more commercial partners. And you could envision, depending how this plays out, who gets there first, how sustained they make their presence will change what it looks like in 10 years. Now, luckily, most governments around the world have signed the Artemis Accords, which is to say that we will make this scientific, that we will make this for humanity, and we won't make this a race, like a colonization race. And that's a really critical need that we're gonna have a kind of a global understanding that the moon is hard, that we'll help each other. This is kind of part of the human experience, right? We explore as humans. We've explored every foundation, every frontier that we have had. And the current frontiers are deep in the ocean or outer space. This is actually, the moon is a frontier we've succeeded in getting to before, but then we quit. And now we're finally returning. That's super exciting. And it's a necessary step for any further exploration in our solar system, Mars and beyond. One other thing, I think, there's an opportunity in all of this, right? Paying attention to the sort of NASA websites, to the various space industry websites that are out there, and seeing when opportunities arise for people who want to get involved, people who want to become future scientists, future aerospace engineers, or even just interested public. There are a number of ways to sign up for the newsreels as they come by, or the email lists or whatever, to be able to have this opportunity to participate and to excite the next generation. Because one of the realities of space exploration and long-range missions, they happen on decadal scale, which means the people who invent the idea are often retired by the time the idea comes to fruition, which requires the next generation to have been trained up and ready to go, because the people who are going to land on Mars are probably just being born now.